Hello, Dexter Lake family. Hey, I'm up here at my uncle's cabin up in northern Michigan, and as you can see, he's got a creek that runs through his property. And it made me think about water, obviously, but on the way up here I was listening to the audible version of the Bible, and I was listening to Acts, and in the 26th and 27th chapters, it talks about when Paul was forced to go to Italy because he was on trial. He was being persecuted for his Christian beliefs. And along that journey, the water became a problem for them as they were traveling by ship. You know, it's interesting. Water takes a lot of forms. You'll have to excuse me, the gnats are heavy here. But water takes a lot of forms, and sometimes it's very smooth, like on a very calm lake. Other times, going over rapids, it can create some turbulence. Obviously, these rapids are not Niagara Falls, but they come in all varieties. And then there's times where there's just raging rivers and raging storms that if you happen to be on a ship during those times of those storms, it can be terrifying. You can be fearful for your life and wondering if you're going to survive and all that. Well, let me tell you, the best time, or the best thing to do, I should say, when you're in those turbulent times is to stay in the boat. See, in Acts 26 and 27, the storm was fierce for days, and actually it was for a couple weeks that it was just so much turbulence. People were, the ship's crew were throwing all the supplies and everything overboard. And at one point, the centurion leader and some of his crew were getting ready to abandon the ship and try to put their lives in their own hands. And Paul actually said, he found them and he said, don't do it. He said, God spoke to me in a dream and said that I will get to talk to Caesar. And he said, everyone on this ship will be saved. If you leave the ship, you're at your own peril. But if you stay here because God spoke this to me, you're going to be safe. Well, the centurion and all the soldiers cut their life raft loose, and they stayed on the board. And then after a few days, they came ashore and were safe. And you can read all about that. Again, it's Acts 26, 27, and I believe it even goes into chapter 28 also. But the thoughts that came to mind with me are, we're in a COVID situation. We're in a lockdown. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of fear. You may be having financial problems. But you know what? Problems are just a fact of life. And you cannot abandon your trust in God when problems come up. You need to just stay on board. Stay on the ship that Christ has created for you. There is safety in staying right where you were planted. Don't start deviating. Don't start not going to church or watching church on live stream. Don't start not reading the Bible. Don't start not praying. Don't start trying to do things your own way. See, God said if you would stay on the ship, you will be safe. The waters were calm when they got on the ship. The storms came, and there was some loss. There was some physical property loss, but everyone who stayed on the ship was saved. So I want to encourage you to stay on the ship no matter what turbulence is coming into your life today or any days recently, even if it's a year from now. Don't abandon Christ. Don't abandon church. There was another person who was on a boat during a storm, in fact a few people, and Jesus. And he was actually asleep on the boat when all of his disciples were fighting the waves and fighting the wind, and they were thinking they were going to die, so they woke Jesus up. And all he simply did was say, "Peace, be still." And the storm subsided. See, that's the Christ that we are searching after, that has the power to calm your storms. Don't try to remove yourself and avoid the storms. Stay in them. But talk to Christ. And let Christ give you that confidence, and let Christ give you that security that you are going to weather whatever the storm comes in. It might be relationships, it might be financial, it might be health, it might be going stir crazy because you're locked up in your house because of what's going on right now. But stay in the boat, stay in the ship, and crawl out to Christ. Dexter Lake family, I hope you have a great day today. I hope this was a benefit to you, and I hope you're encouraged by it. We love you. and we'll be talking to you later.